As we go through life's deep journey and deal with many relationships and encounters, the wisdom of Stoicism can help us find the ways of trust and respect. Today we'll start a thought-provoking look at the Stoics say that there are certain types of people who we shouldn't trust and honor. Stoic thought says that we should only trust and respect people when we have to. This is because virtue is more important than anything else. So, who should we be careful to trust and respect, from the ghosts of lies to the invisible? A hint of flattery. Join us as we talk about 9 types of people who make it hard to trust and respect others. Before we start, we should all ask ourselves, how do these people affect your trust and respect for others? How does Stoicism help us respond with wisdom and calmness? Because it's not in condemnation that we find comfort, but in understanding and insight that lead us. If you're ready to start this important journey, every struggle is a chance to learn and grow, and every encounter is a chance to learn how to live a good life. Get ready to comment, mark your intention to learn more about the timeless teachings of Stoicism. Let's work on developing the wisdom and strength to know when someone isn't deserving of our trust and respect, and on developing the qualities within ourselves that make us deserving of our trust and respect. There are 2 main threads in all human interactions: trust and respect. However, some people cut these threads by their actions, separating themselves from the virtue of integrity. For example, Clara was known for liking to gossip, and what started out as harmless whispers shared in private quickly turned into a web of mistrust and disrespect among her friends. Clara, who had been a trusted confidant, found herself alone with her thoughts. Stoicism teaches us that our words should show what kind of person we are, and gossip goes against the Stoic values of honesty and respect for others. It tears down society, making people dislike each other and spreading lies. People who gossip lack self-control and don't care about other people's dignity, which are all things that go against Stoic principles. Epicus, a Stoic philosopher, once said that we should care more about our character than our reputation, because our character is who we really are and our reputation is just what other people think of us. He meant that gossip hurts both our character and our reputation, so we should take on the role of the gossip. To cultivate a spirit of sincerity and respect in our communications, we must strive to be guardians of our words, ensuring they are used not to belittle or divide, but to uplift and unify. In doing so, we align ourselves with the Stoic ideal of living in harmony with our true nature, fostering relationships built on a solid foundation of trust and respect. Let this tale of Clara serve as a reminder of the corrosive nature of gossip and the importance of nurturing our character through virtuous speech. For in the realm of Stoicism, it is not merely what we say but how we say it that defines our path to a virtuous and fulfilling life. Number 2. The narcissist. Do you often find yourself on the receiving end of someone's excessive anger or pride? Each time this occurs, it likely leaves you feeling diminished and disrespected at the core of such interactions. You might often find a narcissistic individual, one who is excessively preoccupied with themselves, their prestige and their needs, often at the expense of others. We see narcissism as more than just self-love. It's an inflated sense of one's own worth and a desire to always be the center of attention. The narcissist wants to be admired and doesn't care about other people, which can cause trust and respect to break down. Think about Damien's story. Damien's narcissistic tendencies slowly broke down trust between him and his friends. Damien always wanted to be the star and rarely acknowledged other people's work or feelings. He needed to be validated all the time and couldn't celebrate other people's successes, which made him lonely over time. His co-workers and friends stopped hanging out with him because they wanted relationships based on mutual respect and empathy, which Damien couldn't provide. Stoicism, as taught by philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, teaches us that true self-worth comes from living a good life. Being self-centered, Orosius himself told people not to praise themselves and instead emphasized a life of service and humility in the Stoic tradition. Narcissists don't deserve trust or respect because they act in ways that go against the virtues of community and the general good. Stoicism tells us to build relationships with people who show respect, empathy, and humility. These traits build trust and genuine respect. So, Even though we may meet narcissistic people along the way, Stoicism tells us to be smart about our relationships and choose those who lift us up instead of bringing us down, and share our lives instead of taking over. By doing this, we align ourselves with the Stoic pursuit of a harmonious and good life number. Does their face show happiness, or does it turn dark with anger? People who are jealous don't just want what other people have. They harbor anger toward those who have already achieved it. For example, Marcus is a skilled artisan whose co-worker Julia got praise for her great work instead of sharing in her happiness. Marcus was filled with envy, which made him downplay Julia's achievements and make their friends unhappy. His jealousy-driven actions not only put him on the outside, but also caused trouble in their community. The Stoic thinkers, who had a deep understanding of how people behave, warn us against the destructive nature of envy. One of the most famous Stoics said, "Envy is the ulcer of the soul." This means that envy eats away at the core of our being, making us care more about other people's success than our own. So, envy doesn't just ruin our relationships, it also breaks down our character, making us petty and selfish. It keeps us from seeing our own potential, and it ties us to the successes and failures of others. Someone who is envious doesn't deserve our trust or respect because their actions aren't based on virtue, but on a destructive desire that hurts the harmony and mutual support that are necessary for a community to thrive. In conclusion, let us try to be happy people. Have you ever been around someone who was jealous? If so, what did you do to keep them from ruining your life? Tell us in the comments section below. The perpetual critic in life. Meeting teachers who help us grow and be good is a blessing. These people's helpful criticism helps us get better, but it's important to tell the difference between real help and the noise of perpetual cry criticism. Not all people who criticize are teachers. Some are just critics who don't offer much in the way of solutions. Perhaps you know someone who is quick to find flaws but slow to give help. This person is the perpetual critic. If someone is always criticizing others without thinking about how their words might affect others, they are likely to say hurtful things that aren't meant to be hurtful. Stoicism, which focuses on personal growth and resilience, can help you understand this kind of criticism. For example, Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, said, "Don't explain your philosophy, live it." This message tells us to pay attention, less on the voices of constant critics outside of us and more on our own internal compass of morality and reason. A constant reviewer who looks for faults all the time without trying to make things better doesn't fit with Stoic values. People like this can not only stop us from growing, but they can also destroy our peace of mind and sense of self-worth if we let their words sink in. This is why constructive feedback can be a tool for growth. A constant critic's comments often lack the content that leads to improvement. It is very important to understand this difference. Accept criticism that pushes you to be good, and learn to let negative criticism fall off like tree leaves, leaving you unaffected. Let's look for leaders who are sincere and have a purpose, and remember that respect and trust are earned through constructive, not destructive, behavior and living by Stoic principles. We not only protect ourselves from the empty criticism of the eternal critic, but we also walk a path marked by growth. Person number 5 who is manipulative, the person who is manipulative. Alex lived in a noisy neighborhood. Alex initially drew a lot of attention with his charisma and charm. However, Alex was also very manipulative and often tried to get his way in conversations and situations at other people's cost. Over time, Alex became more and more manipulative. He spread false rumors to sway a group decision or fake distress, to get sympathy and avoid taking responsibility. Slowly, people in the community who were once honest and trusting began to see the trends. Alex's deeds rarely matched what he said, and things always seemed to be set up to help him. Alex lost friends and respect. As trust fell, invitations to events decreased, talks became less deep, and Alex's influence decreased. Eventually, Alex found himself alone, a stark contrast to the active social life he used to have. Alex is a typical example of this personality type. In our everyday interactions, we often have to choose between words that persuade and words that manipulate. This is an important distinction to make because persuasion aims to educate and promote understanding, while manipulation aims to trick for personal gain, offering no real value and eroding the foundation of trust and respect on which real relationships are built. Being Stoic means being able to look past what someone says or does and figure out what they really mean. We have to ask ourselves if what they say or do is for the good of everyone or if it's just to help one person at the expense of another. This isolation wasn't caused by community harshness. It was a powerful reminder of the Stoic belief that our actions and choices define us, and that there is no room for lying or manipulating in the pursuit of virtue. Being real is a key part of trust and respect, but there is a character in Among Us who is a fake flatterer and breaks down this very foundation. Thomas was known for flattering people too much. His words were sweet, but they didn't carry the weight of sincerity. Over time, his friends started to doubt the sincerity of his praise, which led to a loss of trust and respect. His relationships, which used to be deep, became shallow because he liked to flatter people more than tell the truth. Why do people look down on people who praise them so much? Stoicism teaches us that honest relationships are based on respect and honesty. Flattery, especially when it's over the top and not earned, is a form of deception. It's a tool used not to encourage but to control. It's not meant to show genuine appreciation, but to curry favor. This kind of behavior goes against Stoic values, which stress how important it is to be honest and treat others with respect. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher, warned of the risks of flattery, saying that it takes advantage of our weaknesses. Those who flatter do so not out of a sense of goodwill, but out of a desire to advance their own interests by engaging in flattery. They demonstrate a lack of self-control and a disregard for the Stoic virtue of authenticity. Therefore, we must be wary of those who use flattery as a tool for self-interest and strive to cultivate relationships grounded in honesty and sincerity. We must resist the temptation to be the flatterer, recognizing that true respect and admiration are earned through virtuous actions, not hollow words. Let us heed the lesson from Thomas's story and commit to fostering genuine connections with those around us. In doing so, we honor the Stoic principles of integrity and authenticity, building relationships that are not only meaningful, but also deserving of trust and respect. Number 7. The victim in the grand narrative of our lives. We encounter individuals who perennially cast themselves in the role of the victim. Such individuals often cloak themselves in a mantle of misfortune, not as a genuine cry for help, but as a strategy to garner sympathy and evade responsibility. They now navigate the world, not as agents of their destiny, but as justice and temperance, knew that empathy was an important part of living a good life. For example, Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, once said that empathy is what hurts others the most. The hive hurts the bee. This profound saying shows how connected our lives are and how important empathy is for the health of our collective human hive. A person who doesn't have empathy sees the world through their own needs and experiences, not understanding the emotional landscapes of others. Someone who isn't connected to the happiness and pain of others doesn't contribute to the structure of a supportive and caring community. Merit our trust or respect? Trust is built on understanding, and respect is grown through shared values and mutual respect, which are qualities that people who don't have empathy lack. In conclusion, let us heed the Stoic call to develop empathy so that we can understand and care about others beyond ourselves, and help build a community where trust, respect, and virtue thrive. In doing so, we not only honor the Stoic principles, but also help create a world where the ninth one, those who judge. How do you define judgment? At its most basic level, judgment is an opinion or conclusion about someone or something. But when it comes to human behavior, being judgmental means making a snap, often negative judgment of others without fully understanding their situation or character. For example, Sarah is proud of her discerning eye at a community event gathering. She looks at Peter's simple clothes and decides right away that he lacks class and taste. She says this out loud enough for whispers to start, which makes Peter feel bad and turns off people who think her judgment is unfair. Why then, you might ask? Do people who judge quickly not deserve our respect or trust? Stoicism tells us that understanding is what makes us wise, not quick judgments. Epicus, a Stoic philosopher, once said that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. This emphasizes the Stoic value of listening and understanding before forming an opinion. People like Sarah who judge quickly show a lack of depth in their character and an abstinence from empathy. As a result of their lack of insight, which is necessary to earn trust and respect, their decisions do not lead to growth or understanding. Instead, they spread negativity and division. It is normal to have views. Stoicism tells us to be careful, have empathy, and a deep understanding of how complicated people are. People who judge quickly are not like these virtues, which hurts trust and respect. Let us try to live by the Stoic principles of wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation, building a community where understanding and empathy win out over judgment and conflict. He who walks with the wise grows wise seems to be a rule that helps us find good company as we look into people who might not deserve our trust and respect. From the jealous to the uncaring, to the constant critic to the fake flatterer, we find not only people to avoid but also people who reflect our own choices and actions. Stoicism doesn't just tell us to stay away from certain people. It also tells us to look for people who help us grow, are good, and are calm when picking friends or other people to be with. As partners or co-workers, let us follow the Stoic advice to surround ourselves with people who make us want to be our best selves, who share our commitment to virtue and who contribute to a life full of happiness and peace. Remember the counsel of Marcus Aurelius: the company of just and righteous men is better than wealth and a large estate. As we go forward, let us choose our companions wisely, for they shape our path to a virtuous, fulfilling life.